in this session and pick up with where we left off with item 31. This is a communication 2025-12435. Report by the engineering department relating to the August 2025 flooding event. And the floor is yours, both of you.
So the engineering department had been asked several questions, as a lot of departments were during the flooding. Mostly, we were asked, why did it happen? Did our infrastructure fail? Why didn't we turn the valves that are in the storm sewers, the sewer valves? So, and the other question we got, which was an interesting question, was what would it cost if we built a system big enough to contain a 1,000-year flood?
Oh my gosh.
So that's what this report kind of addresses, and that's the purpose of the report. So I'm not going to read this verbatim, but generally what happened, as you all have experienced, the region experienced what's termed a 1,000-year flood. And what that really is engineers doing math, but it's to describe the probability that you're going to have a storm of that magnitude. It's that probability. So I'm going to borrow an analogy from Alderman Rowe. If you had a jar with 99 white marbles and 1 black marble, and every day you reached in the jar, you would have a 1% chance that you're going to grab the black one.
But you have to put the marble back
You have
in.
to put it back in, and that's the same with storms. Every day you have the same chance to receive a 5-year storm, a 10-year storm, a 100-year storm, whatever. So when you say a 1,000-year storm, people are thinking, oh, we had one, it'll be 1,000 years. Well, in 2026, knock on wood, we don't, but we could receive a 1,000-year storm. So that's just what the region received. We have some data. The most significant rain actually came in the very early stages of the event. West Allis doesn't have any rain gauges specifically in West Allis. We use MMSD's rain gauges, so we have one just north of the freeway in Wauwatosa and one down just out of the city limits on South 97th Street. And those rain gauges indicated between 2.15 and 2.51 inches of rain in the first hour, which equates to 1.34 and 1.36 gallons per minute. And so it's a significant amount of rain. When you get that first flush of rain, you get the debris that's on the street washing down to the catch basins, clogs the catch basins. You get the first flush down Honey Creek in the open section, gets to the Great McCarty Park. The storm sewer system becomes very quickly overwhelmed. Then as the storm continues, because you have debris, some rain initially can get through, some of the runoff can initially get through, but as time goes on, of course it gets clogged, street flooding occurs, there's low spots that in people's yards that flood, so there is flooding that starts to happen because the rain it's a 1,000-year storm and it's a significant amount of rain. And then we all kind of see what happens from that. As the report also talks about, we talk about the West Allis storm sewer design. We in West Allis designed for a 5-year storm event, which is the 20% chance that a storm is going to occur. That's a fairly common rainstorm, 20% chance. So we were trying to design for something that's going to happen fairly frequently to minimize any potential for rain to be on the street from that small storm that happens frequently. So that's why we design. Each city gets to pick. There's no mandated standard from like DNR or anybody like that. So West Allis has picked a 5-year storm. Other communities I've worked for have done 10-year storms. there's not right or wrong, it's a matter of how much risk each community wants to take, and this is the risk that West Allis has decided, that they can absorb. And the report kind of goes through how we design storm sewers based on how much impervious or area that doesn't absorb water is in a basin or a specific area. And we use some coefficients that represent that, and we multiply that by acreage, and then we apply a rainfall intensity to that, and we come up with a cubic feet per second calculation. In the old days, I had a sewer slide rule that I used back in my old days in Milwaukee. I still use it, and everybody else not so much. They use these fancy calculators and spreadsheets. But so we come up with a cubic feet per second. When we have that number, then we can look at some tables that have been generated and some additional calculations to figure out what size pipe it needs. So based on the slope of the road, the slope of the land that we need to put the pipe in, the length of that pipe, and how much water we need to convey in cubic feet per second, we can determine, do we need an 8-inch pipe, 10-inch pipe, 12-inch pipe, 108-inch pipe like on National Avenue. So those are the kinds of calculations that we go through to determine pipe size for West Allis. The report also talks about two kind of rivers that had flooding in West Allis, Honey Creek being one that was incredibly impactful and significant. Root River also had flooding, which did have some impact on the residents in those areas as well, but certainly not as much as Honey Creek. It's important to note that both of those, and including Hale Creek, are under the jurisdiction of the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District. So they own and maintain those rivers. And in Honey Creek's case, the part that is enclosed in the twin box sewer, the MMSD is responsible for its maintenance. And the trash rack that goes from McCarty Park and where it goes underground. So West Allis has no control over that box sewer, its maintenance, its infrastructure. So I want to make that very clear that is not West Allis's responsibility to maintain and operate. The storm sewers that go into there, those are ours, and we do maintain those. Dave Screws do a great job of cleaning catch basins every year. We have to report that out to DNR. They do storm sewer cleaning. When we do designing of pipes, we look at, can we upsize it? Is that appropriate? So engineering is also looking to always create capacity where we can. So the jurisdiction for the rivers in West Allis and the creek, Honey Creek, is MMSD. It's also important to note that West Allis has a separate system. The storm sewers are separate from the sanitary sewers. They are not a combined sewer system. City of Milwaukee has a section downtown and kind of on the near north side of downtown, as well as Shorewood. They have combined sewers.
A lot of Bayview also.
They've separated a lot down there, but they still have some. Yeah.
Both the duplexes, my daughter,
Oh, does she?
are combined.
Okay. So those areas all have combined sewer. West Allis does not. We have completely separate systems. So when MMSD talks about the deep tunnel, that is none of our stormwater. That is only our sanitary sewer flow. So basement backups that happen during the storm that were sanitary backups would have happened if the district closed the access for West Allis sewage to get in there. Then it fills up their interceptor pipes, which then backs up into our local sewers, which backs up into the laterals, which backs up into people's homes. So again, West Allis relies on a lot of infrastructure from other entities to transport stormwater and sewage out of the city. In the report, we talk about, kind of specifically Honey Creek flooding, and the Honey Creek was so impactful for a number of different reasons. One of the reasons was, and I don't think it was highlighted enough, there had been some rain events up towards the north, Menominee Falls and northwest Milwaukee earlier in the day, where they had gotten some significant rainfall around 4:30 in the afternoon. They drained to Menominee River, which drains down past into Wauwatosa, but that's the receiving body for Honey Creek. So the Menominee River is already full. And so when Honey Creek starts to fill up from our rain event later in the evening, 7:30, 8 o'clock, all the water that Honey Creek is taking is now trying to make its way to the Menominee River, which is already elevated, getting elevated because Wauwatosa is getting the same kind of rain event. So Honey Creek can't push into the Menominee River anymore. It backs up. More is coming from, the upstream areas, from Milwaukee, all comes through Honey Creek. All our local sewers are trying to get in Honey Creek, and then compounded by the catch basins have debris on them, the grate has debris on it. It just is kind of a number of things compounding upon each other and that's unfortunately what happened that flooded the Honey Creek area so significantly. The diagram in the report is kind of I think a really helpful diagram for that. Root River had something similar, but not to that level because Root River is all open, so it has an opportunity to expand its banks, but it does have constrictions where it goes like underneath Cleveland Avenue, where it goes under, over by 116th and Morgan by the dump. So there are constrictions in there, and debris did build up on some of those culverts and bridges that go there. So there were some constrictions, but the land adjacent is a little more wide, so it was able to spread out over land a little more. But the houses in those areas certainly had impact with basement flooding and street flooding, and those are some historical areas that we know. Another issue is the enclosed part of Honey Creek isn't designated a floodplain because it's enclosed. FEMA has not designated that. Root River has a mapped floodplain, so I think the expectations are maybe a little different as well. Some of us remember Honey Creek being open. I don't remember all of it being open. I remember different parts of it being open, but people that move in, well, certainly in the last 5-10 years, would never know that it had ever been an open creek, and they may not realize that there's a box sewer there. They may not understand what the catch basin grate in the backyard does, and then they put their fire pit on top of it, and then it's not helping the situation, right? So, and I'm not blaming any people for sure. I'm just saying these are all things that compound and add to what happened and why the area flooded as significantly as it did. So, not only was there the flooding of the Honey Creek and Root River, the city itself did have some damage to city infrastructure. We had some of our public property, Fire Station 2 roof leaked, the new DPW facility, we had a sinkhole in the shop area, or what's gonna be the shop area, and our storms and sanitary systems experienced damage to some catch basins, manholes, and pipes, as well as there was some minor around the bridge abutments at Root River and Lincoln and near 124th Street. So to make sure that we tried to capture all damage in the sanitary and the storm sewer system. We did, let an emergency contract to go through and televise, all the storm sewer, and check the manholes and catch basins, as well as, televise the sanitary sewer, to make sure if there was damage. We found a couple places where there was some damage, but we did that not because there was something wrong with those systems, but to make sure that those systems weren't damaged by the flooding. Flooding is really hard to pick apart. There's so many things that enter into why areas flood. But the main reason, it's not I don't want anybody to think that engineering is just washing its hands of anything, but given that we design our sewers for 5 years, the box sewer for Honey Creek is designed for a 100-year storm, and you get a 1,000-year storm, those pipes cannot handle that amount of water, and there will be flooding. So that's what happened. There's no conspiracy theory, there's nothing. It's an act of God. My rule of thumb is, when God is gonna give you a storm that you can't handle. And that is true, cause there's always gonna be a storm. There can be a 2,000-year storm, there can be a 5,000-year storm. So, I'm sorry?
I said there will be a 10,000-year storm.
Oh.
We just don't know when.
But we don't know when exactly. So, but because of that, and because of this 1,000-year storm, engineering was also asked to find out what it would take to build a storm sewer system in the Honey Creek area that would handle a 1,000-year storm. It's on towards the end of the report. We did a very incredibly high level, because to actually model it, we would have to purchase modeling software or hire a consultant. Allis, one of our principal engineers, did an awesome job doing a very high level analysis of it. But to do the storm sewer system would be over $23 million. Now that's all of it, and we can certainly look at different parts of it, but it's all linked together. And if Honey Creek isn't built to receive a 1,000-year storm, for us to build a 1,000-year, something that can carry it, may not be the most helpful thing. So, and with this, we've done, there's some drawings in there that talk about, well, we can say this needs to be a 102-inch or a 10.5-foot diameter sewer, to try to put that in the street where we already have water main, gas main, sanitary sewer, fiber optic cables, streetlight cables, to get everything connected to this large diameter sewer in the street. We are going to have to find a space for all the other utilities. And probably to put that in there, if we have to support any of the other utilities, say they don't have to move, but to support them in the trench, because the trench is going to be very large, is gonna cost even more than what we've put in the system. So 23 million is what I would call the very baseline. It is only gonna go up from there. So again, this report was really just to try to offer some rationale and understanding of why the flooding occurred the way it did. To let everybody know that there's no magic gates, there's no obstructions in the storm sewer system in Honey Creek or in the city's system. There was really nothing that the city could have done to really alleviate what happened. But I also want people to know that I think the engineering department, public works, police, fire, the whole city, all of you older people, the mayor, we recognize that this is very devastating, and it makes us very sad that you feel helpless, right? You feel very helpless. And as engineers, what do? We solve problems all day long. That's what we're supposed to do. And there's really no great solution for this. So, but we take responsibility, and we take our responsibility to try to ensure safety. Excuse me, I've been talking a lot today.
Get this woman a water.
We take this, you know, to say there's nothing we can do, but we say that with empathy, and we will continue to evaluate and do what we can where we can in a smart, respectful, financially responsible way, because the city doesn't have endless money, as we find out. So that's the report. I hope it wasn't. I'm sorry it was long.
No,
I tried to not
Great.
be long. If you guys have questions, I'd be more than happy to take questions.
Any questions by the committee members first?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
are we gonna release this like an easy, digestible way to the public?
I can talk with communications to see. I struggled real hard to get all the engineering down to
Yeah.
something. I hope you found it fairly easy to read.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is, for sure.
I worked very hard.
Thank you.
And I think like because you work so hard on it, like people deserve to see, you know, what you work so hard on. So
Thank you.
When you were doing the National Avenue discussion, you said you're putting in from the expressway west, 108-inch storm sewer.
Mhm.
What did that replace? Are we now proactively
Eight-
building?
An 84 storm.
So is that because of recent rains, or is that just,
Well,
are we being proactive, or is the state being proactive with their underground storm?
we had analyzed the drainage basin, found that the 84 was undersized, knowing that it goes down to Hale Creek. We know that it backs up there. We were taking the opportunity to increase the size where we could and create a little storage in there and be proactive. And that's what engineering has been doing all along. I mean, Rob's been here 20 years. He certainly can attest to the design standards.
I will turn it over to the other members. Alderman Weigel, please.
You've talked to MMSD, obviously.
Yes,
They're doing work in McCarty, I know that.
yes,
Is that the only thing they're doing
at this
in our
time,
city? Have they had serious conversations with State Fair about doing like a basin in the mile? I guess that's probably a non-starter with the fair, cause they need the parking revenue. Cause the creek goes under the
Right,
expo
yes.
center, goes under the mile.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I thought you were just waving there.
MMSD has done some improvement of the, I think it's 4, I forget the size, it's 4 culvert pipe, 4 huge culvert pipe. That travel that they have been doing a spray lining on it.
Yeah.
Cause you can't, it's so big you can't even like do a traditional sewer liner where you normally pump the steam into it and
Right.
expand it. They actually have to like spray a liner on it. They've been doing that, but I am unaware of any other conversations that they have had with State Fair.
Cause that liner is falling in some places. I've been under there a couple times in my life, so all the way from 84th to McCarty.
Okay.
If everybody wants a tour.
Mr. Chair,
Mayor Devine.
there have been discussions with the fair and the district, and the district as a whole has always been working on climate resiliency. And, 30 years out, they have a 2035 plan, which is now being expedited, and this is gonna be a question of cost for the district, and I think it'll reflect with their taxing authority a lot of what we're talking about with the municipal taxing authority, but there's, I don't wanna say it was a call to action, but I would say that the district is really trying to expedite a lot of their longer term goals and trying to get them,
And was daylighting the creek at least in there? Or maybe
not
a basin?
completely, but it was discussed, and I don't even know if the State Fair Park Board knows this yet, so don't tell too many people on the camera, but there has been a discussion on portions of it.
Our 2030 plan had a nice water feature in there.
I never heard of that. But no, it's the district is studying a lot.
I'm
And
sure that
it's the state
I'm
fair
sure
and
they
beyond.
are, yeah.
So it's the entire watershed. Just for the record.
And Mr. Chair, Dan, are you on the MMSD board?
I am, yes.
Yeah, right.
And you're on the fair board too.
I am, yeah.
So you might have to be.
We'll get there.
Yes.
My top allegiance is to the city though.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Does your wife know this?
You say that a little louder, please.
Anyone else? That's it? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, we need to accept this
Oh, we do.
Oh, yeah.
and
Well,
place
we're
on
out of
file.
here already. Thank you.
I move that we accept item 31 and place on file.
Second.
As read. Okay, second,
Yeah.
Yep.
any discussion?
No.